Welcome to another episode of the Roughly Related to Reselling podcast. My name is Perry Phillips. I go by Perry Flips on Instagram with a Z, Pothead Picker on X, and then Flips and Giggles is the eBay store, the Whatnot page, and it's also the Facebook page. So another week. It's already September. It's the first podcast of September. Coming up on 2 years of the podcast. This is episode 75. So not exactly every single week, but still, mostly our episodes at 75 episodes. That's like, 75 hours of podcasting almost. I'm sure some of it's a little bit less because I didn't do an hour every time. So, but 75 episodes. I'm trudging away to 100. And I know it's been a while since I've talked about getting video on the podcast again, but I talked to a friend of mine who's way better at this stuff. I finally was like, I got to reach out for help for somebody. So we're going to get together in the next couple weeks and hopefully get a setup that will work. Because I've been using in the basement we have like this little area that's like my kids' play area, and there's just so much shit there that I just moved all that stuff, and there's like pictures up. So we've been using that as the background for the Whatnot, and it kind of will work for a podcast. I need to get like a chair that I can just pop in and out. We have one chair in the basement that moves around, and it's the loudest chair. Like anytime you move, it's just the entire thing just makes noise. It's not like an old chair. It's just one of those chairs that's just like made of whatever the technology for windbreakers. It's like that loud. Just like every movement is just like. So, yeah. I had my yard sale this weekend. So I'll talk about that today. I also went to Savers today to drop off the rest of the stuff that was left from the yard sale. Yeah, I don't know. Somehow I'm like missing cash. I don't know what the fuck happened. I feel like I made a lot more money on Saturday than I ended up walking away with, but I kept like passing money back and forth to my wife. So we could have like fucked up at some point and just, our math could have been fucked up. She could have fucked up. I could have fucked up. Who knows? I mean, I made enough money that I didn't give a shit. I was just like, whatever. I got rid of a ton of stuff and got cash to buy some other stuff. But yeah, I didn't have a ton of money left today from the cash from the yard sale. I was trying to go back. It was like one of those weekends where we just had a bunch of shit going on. So we did the yard sale Saturday morning, and then we had our fantasy football draft later in the afternoon. And so that was just like a super long day. I got up at like 5:30 in the morning. Not even. I was up 4:30 because I was up out of bed by 5, starting to get set up for the yard sale. I was just finishing up at like 7 when I had people rolling up. Because people come early to my yard sale. I always tell people like you can come early day of, and I'm usually ready like an hour before the sale. Just because I know like people are gonna be here wanting to shop, and so yeah, it was I'm trying to think what happened earlier in the week. So prior to that, because I think I don't remember when I did the podcast last. Maybe I did it like Wednesday. But anyway, we had a Whatnot auction last week that went pretty well. We did some T-shirts, got a bunch of stuff out of there. We have another Whatnot coming up tonight, actually. I'm going to put this out I don't know, like less than an hour now because I've been talking for, well, I'll put it out like in an hour, about an hour from now. So, I mean, it'll be out a few hours before the Whatnot stream. So if you're listening to this right now and you want to check out the Whatnot stream, I tried to put it live to Facebook last time. And for whatever reason, when we went to go live, the connection was like not working. And when I went to go fix it, I tried to do it again and it just kind of like blanked out on me. So I was a little disappointed about that. I'm hoping this week we don't have any issues. But again, that's another thing that I'm having my buddy come to talk to me about, is like getting set up so I don't have like these fucking annoying issues. I don't have a producer. Again, I'm not a producer. I'm like technically challenged with all this stuff. So I'm just kind of learning as I go. And yeah, it's not my it's not my bag, man. As Austin Powers would say. Sorry, I'm like we just ate lunch, breakfast. Birch. So yeah, so last week we'd had a t-shirt thing, and I sent something out. So I don't know. I'm like waiting to hear back from somebody from Whatnot. I don't know what the fuck happened in this situation. So I had a package that had to go out. Two of them were like the bigger packages from the Whatnot order, and both of them were too big. When you have packages that are over 5 pounds for Whatnot, they just automatically go as ground advantage. So I just like printed the label, not even thinking, just like, because it's a lot of like, you just put in a like one number, you just put in like how much the package weighs, and then like Whatnot takes care of it. But in this situation, in this instance, they didn't do that, or well, in this situation, so like I just printed them out. I wasn't paying attention, and I went to the post office, and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna pretend I didn't see this, but these are supposed to be priority mail." So I was like, "All right, like I'll fix it, whatever. Like I'll just take them home and I'll come back because I had a package that needed to go out that day anyway." So I take it back home, and I couldn't get the label off without damaging the package. So I just reprinted it, like slapped it on, made sure I had the right person for the right label, all that stuff. Went back to the post office and dropped the stuff off. And then like 2 days later, I was looking at my orders, and I still showed one that was like needing to be scanned in at the post office. And I'm like, I just had all of them scanned in. And of course I always get the receipt, but I like keep it a day or two, and then I just like toss it because I forget about it because I've never needed it. And so then I went to go like look into it, and there's two different tracking numbers. There's one tracking number on the label, and there's another tracking number in the actual order. So I had to like send a message to Whatnot. I'm still waiting for them to get back to me, which is kind of frustrating. And they're like, I know eBay's like mode of getting help is not great, but yeah, the Whatnot one is like even more convoluted. You have to like go to support on the desktop, and then like they send you to like they have you talk to a bot, and then the bot will have somebody email you, and like they've never emailed me right away. I always have to like email them, and then they email me back. So I'm still waiting to hear back from them about that. So I'm just hoping. I mean, it's only like $30-$40, but I don't want to get a shitty reputation off the bat, especially if I'm selling a lot of t-shirts. You know what I mean? People seem to like know each other in the Whatnot community already. And like when I had a sale, it was like other people, all the people in my chat were like talking like they knew each other. So, I don't want to, sorry, I'm still like getting over that cough. I've got like fucking wheezing and shit. So yeah, I just don't want to get like a bad reputation, and like, so I've been keeping in touch with the person. I got to send them another message today to just be like, hey, I talked to the post office. They said if there is an issue, it should just come back to me, but hopefully it's just, going to you. But I don't know if it's going to get to them and it's not going to show as delivered, because my money's still like, all my other money has gone through for Whatnot, and that's the only thing I'm waiting on. So like it's holding up my money. So I'm just not sure. I'm hoping that they get back to me. But yeah, I had a couple returns this week for eBay. One I'm almost positive is bullshit. I don't know if they're going to actually go through with the return, or they're just waiting. It's a shirt, and they're like, it doesn't fit. And I put every measurement for the shirt in there, and it tells you the size. So if at that point you buy the shirt and you're like, it doesn't fit, that's like, luckily eBay doesn't force you to like pay for the return in this situation. But like if they return the shirt and I feel like if like I've had people return it and it smells like cologne, so you're like, oh, they just like wore it, and then like they didn't even try to wash it or like cover it up. They just wore cologne, you know what I mean? And so, I always like take a percentage off the discount whenever they wear it. I'm like, this is, you just basically rented my shirt. So like, here's your rental fee. And so that's one of the returns I have pending right now. But that was like over a week ago. So who knows? They might need it for something. It's always suspicious to me when they immediately get it and then they start the return. But then like 2 weeks later, they finally return it. And it's a clothing item. And you're like, all right. And then the other thing I have was like an electronics. And the reason they put was that it arrived damaged. Which I was like, all right, it arrived damaged, whatever. So like I sent them a label, Well, at first I was like, if you can just send me a picture of like the damage to the box and the damage to the unit, and then I can just like, I'll just refund you because that way I can do my insurance claim, which you probably shouldn't do. But at this point I was just like, I had a bunch of other shit I was dealing with. I was like, I just want to get this issue taken care of so I'm not worried about it, not thinking about it. At that point, it wasn't worth that much to me. I was like, I can definitely get this insurance claim done one way or the other because it arrived damaged. And, So there I go. I don't have the box. I threw the box away and, whatever. So I was like, all right, well then I accepted the return. I was like, all right, well then send it back if you, want to send it back. They seemed like they wanted to send it back, but you never know. They could be like fucking bluffing because I tested it out and it worked. So I don't know what the fuck happened between then and now, or if it's, they're going to try to send me the wrong unit. So I try to avoid electronics, but those Bose things are usually so cheap and easy money. But when they don't work, it's just like a fucking pain in the ass. But I always test them out and they seem like they were working fine. So I don't know what the fuck this person's problem is. So we'll see. Maybe it's just they're full of shit or it broke in transit. But who knows? So yeah, the Whatnot auction tonight, we're doing Beanie Boos. So a friend of mine, Dan from Flip the Table, who I've talked about before on here, he's kind of reselling, I guess. I don't know. But he gave me a bunch of stuffed animals. They were his kids. And there was like a ton of Beanie Boos in there, like 40 or 50. I can't remember what the final number was. And so we're going to be running the Beanie Boos tonight. And those are, so this guy who like always wants me to send him messages, like not send him messages, but he's always like, oh yeah, like let me know if there's a yard sale. So I always try to like, he's helped me out in the past. So I always tell him whenever I see a yard sale posted. But he's like, I just saw a neighborhood yard sale posted this weekend, so I sent it to him, just like a picture of it. And he's like, oh, they had it last year, I think. It's like, yeah, dude, it's a neighborhood yard sale. Like, it's going to be different every year. Like, he's got these weird, and then he ends up going to every sale anyway. And he's like, yeah, that sale's going to suck. But then he goes to every sale, like, and he doesn't have a reselling business. He's just a dude who likes to go to yard sales. He's a cool guy, nice enough guy. But he's like, yeah, my wife doesn't get it. Like, he's like, yeah, she doesn't get it. Like, she doesn't understand why I go yard sailing. And I'm just like, I honestly don't either, because you don't have a reselling business. You're just a retired guy who just goes and buys shit he doesn't really need. Like, I've seen him buy like the most random shit and be like, oh yeah, I'll be able to find a use for this. And I'm like, there's no fucking way. And he goes out like every weekend. He'll just go out for like, he's still like 2-3 in the afternoon. He's like, hey, are you still out? I'm like, no, dude, I'm never out this late. Like, I don't want to waste my entire Saturday driving around to yard sales. At that point, it's not worth it for me. But like, if I go for a few hours in the morning and I get back at a certain time, like, it's 100% worth it for me. So, sorry, I'm just checking on my kids. But yeah, he's just like, yeah, my wife doesn't get it. I'm like, I mean, if I was your wife, I wouldn't get it either. You're not coming home with stuff. You're like, hey, look at how much I could sell this for. Like, my wife now at this point, she's like, oh, like, we have a legitimate business that we pay taxes on every year. Like, we're like doing, solid numbers. We're like, able to afford stuff and write off trips. And like, she sees like, the value in going to yard sales. But like, if you're just a retired person and you're just like going to yard sales and you're not making content and you're just buying shit that's probably just taking up room in your house, he goes out every weekend. I can't imagine, like, I fill my car up every once in a while. Like, I mean, it used to fill it up more so than I do now. But like, I used to fill my car up. I'd go out to yard sales, fill my car, and then like, go home and like unload and just have a ton of stuff. Like right now, I'm overwhelmed with stuff, just from the yard sale season, and I've been selling a lot stuff. Selling stuff on Whatnot too. Like just selling tons and tons of stuff this summer. There's been no summer slowdown here. But again, if you're just buying all that stuff and it's just sitting in your house, then it's gonna become a problem if it's not already a problem. Um, but yeah, so long story short, yeah, I just sent him a thing. He's like, yeah, they had that sale last year. It's like, all right, so what? There's a townwide yard sale this week, and I know I hate townwide yard sales. I say that every time, but this one actually is kind of worth it because they literally do not advertise it. All they do is they just post it's in like a Facebook event. They'll do it as a Facebook event, and they don't share it anywhere. They don't like nobody. Some people will just post that they're having a yard sale that's part of it. But for the most part, yeah, they don't post anything about it. So that's this weekend, and then the following weekend there's a giant yard sale. My wife always has to work for that one. So that one I might take my kids to. I don't know, because it gets pretty crazy, and there's like, if you get there early, like sometimes you miss. It's like really, you have to get there like crazy early to get a parking spot, and then you like walk around and like there's porta potties and stuff. So it is like, fine. I might see if my buddy's going with his family. I might see if they're gonna go on Saturday and meet up with them, and just do like a chill day. Like hit up the outside first, because I found a bunch of stuff at like outside. But I don't know. It's like one of those things. It's like if I go there, it's like you're committed because you got to get parking. You got to get a wagon. The kids are going to want to fucking come through. Like, it's going to be a whole thing. So I don't know if that's what I'm going to want to do. Last year I had some success just driving around. Like other people have yard sales as like, they don't advertise it, but they'll have a sale just because they know that there's going to be a lot of traffic for people coming to that giant yard sale. So, and then this weekend is like, they do a big neighborhood or town-wide yard sale, and it's kind of out in the sticks. And so that one I'm hoping is good. It's good every year. I usually find like, vintage clothes. And one year I went and I found like a bunch of Pokemon Nintendo DS games. Like I never sold them. I still have them. I got like 5 or 6 of them, like in mint condition, like complete. There's like a Soul Silver complete, like not the extra box, but it was just like the complete regular box. So I'm hoping this year to get some stuff. I haven't found any like video games in a long time. I found like little things here and there, but like some actual good video game finds, it's been a hot minute. I don't even like look for them anymore because it's just like as soon as people post yard sales, I think people just hit people up and they're like, "Hey, do you have video games?" Or they go to the house and they're like, "Let me buy your video games." But I don't know. If I do come across them, it's always overpriced. Like those people a couple weeks ago who had a PlayStation 2, and the woman's like trying to get $1,000 for it. I shouldn't have said anything. I should have just let her fucking say that to a few people who just would have laughed in her face and then walked away. But I tried to educate her a little bit, and she was still not really hearing what I was saying. I'm like, yeah, you want to make it priced for resellers, not like... I mean, you could price it for collectors here, but unless you get a specific PlayStation 2 collector, you're not going to sell it at collector prices for PlayStation 2 in the box. Especially because those things are a pain in the ass to ship. They're heavy as fuck. And with the box, you got to get like a big-ass box, and like, yeah, so... She had a second yard sale, and I could see that it was still in the picture. I think she finally sold it. She probably had to drop the price. Like I went to this sale this last weekend, and they had a Wii U, and it had like a handful of games, all shitty games, like nothing good. No Wii U controllers. They had like some Wii controllers that they were like, "Oh, this goes with it." I'm like, "Those don't. These are Wii controllers." Like. Because I was like, oh, how much for the Wii and like the games and then like these Wii controllers or whatever. And she wanted $80. And I was like, I would do like 60. She's like, no, I'm not going to do 60. I was like, all right, fine, like whatever. And like the Wii U does not go for that much money. I've tried to sell them before. They do not go for that much money. And then most of the time they don't work. Every single time I've bought a Wii U, I have one Wii U that I kept that I think is working. I couldn't tell you. Every time I go to play it, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So every time I bought a Wii U, it's just like, it's not even worth the hassle. And she wanted way too much money. But she had a limited edition, like Toad themed Wii controller, which is like a $30 to $40 controller. And then there was a red Wii controller, which is like, I think 15 to 20 maybe. So like I was like doing, like I was like, oh, if you won't sell like this thing, like you clearly think this is the most valuable thing. So I like bundled off the other thing, like broke off the little bundle. And then they had this like Logitech cloud mobile gaming handheld unit. And that they didn't really want for that much. So I did like a little bundle deal on all the stuff I got. And I ended up getting that for like $30, I think. So it looked like costs were pretty good on that one. It looked like they were pretty good. I got to figure out how to get it up and running and to test it and all that stuff. But I think you need like a subscription to play the actual game. So, I mean, it's in clean, nice condition. So I don't know anything about them, if they have any glitches or what, but who knows? But yeah, she was like really thinking that, like, she's like, well, on eBay, it goes for like this much. I go, oh, do you have an eBay store? Because I'm so sick of people being like, oh, I have eBay. I can do it on eBay. I go, oh, do you have an eBay store? No. Oh, okay. So then how you're just gonna sell it? Like on what? Like, you know what I mean? Like, don't you could maybe use Facebook Marketplace. Be like, oh, I could get this much on Marketplace. But if you're not even gonna attempt to sell it on eBay, don't come as eBay, like to be like, this is the price it is on eBay. It's like if I tell somebody that I'm gonna sell it on eBay, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not just saying that as like a negotiation tactic to be like, oh, well, on eBay. It's like, yeah, but not everybody's on eBay. I'm here at your yard sale. Like, that's where you're getting foot traffic from your yard sale. eBay, the reason you get thousands of people on your eBay. I don't even want to get into this again because it's just so stupid to even fucking go into, but it's just such a ridiculous thing for people at a yard sale to be like, well, on eBay, it's just like people who put no early birds in their ads, and then it's like, well, not everybody's on Facebook seeing your ads. Some people just saw your sign and then decided to pull over and drive. You know what I mean? Like, the people that you do get mad about, early birds. But I went to a sale this past weekend. They had a big ass sign that was just like, no early birds, and they were just letting people in. So it's like, why do you even have the sign? It's like so stupid. And they're just like, they didn't even have that much stuff. It's like, yeah, we're just about ready. I'm like, how does it take people this long to get set up with these little rinky dink sales that they don't have barely anything? But yeah, so this past weekend I did my yard sale. So like it's always like kind of hectic when I'm doing the yard sale, but like I've kind of got it down now. So like usually a few days before I move it into the the other side of the basement. Our basement becomes like a huge mess for a week. So I move it in and then I start organizing it while it's inside. And then the night before, anything that can be left outside, like, clothes in plastic bags, plastic tubs that have lids, that type of stuff. I put all that stuff outside, getting it ready. And of course this year it fucking poured. It was like pouring rain. Like earlier in the night it started pouring rain. And then I had to run out there and move my shit. It wasn't that bad. I mean, it was just on the clothes with the, and luckily they were all closed up. So like everything was pretty much, fine. I think a tie got wet, but that was about it. So then the next morning, excuse me, I get up crazy early and then start getting it set up. Hold on, I gotta make sure my kids aren't fighting. Hold on a second. All right, sorry, I'm back. They're like hitting each other with these little, I don't even know what they were hitting each other with. So I got up early. I always have these guys come at like 7 a.m. and like I feel like they're coming a long way, and like it's almost never worth it for them, but they still come every year because they get cheap stuff. Because I sell my video games, I've filtered out my video games so much. Like this year, I had like the smallest little stack. I had like a tiny little box of video games, and because I sorted through everything, and I even sorted stuff for Whatnot. So like stuff that normally would just go in my yard sale pile is now going into like my Whatnot pile. So like I didn't even have that many video games. And these guys come all the time. And I think they come from a long way because I never see them around town, like ever, except for my yard sale. And they always come crazy early, buy the video games, and then they leave. And I'm just like, this can't be worth it. There's other sales out there today. And you've been to my sale. Like, you got to remember that. Like, every time I go to a sale that sucks, I remember. And I'm not saying my sale sucks, but like the video games are it's never going to be worth it to come early for my video games. Like, if you've already come and bought video games for me, especially because they're already like filtered through, it's like the bottom of the barrel is what you're getting. Like, I'll just throw a couple in there just to be like, all right, I have video games now, you know? So it is what it is. But it was, got going early. It's always by like 8 o'clock, we've already made a bunch of money and I'm already ready to be done. But I kept leaving, going to yard sales. So I don't know. I kind of like, I might have, fucked up bringing money back and forth. That might be where some of the money went, but I don't know. It's neither here nor there. It's not a large sum of money that's missing, but I don't know if it even is missing, if my math just sucks. But so yeah, we had the yard sale. My wife helped out with that. Went till about noon, and then all the young vintage kids were there early on. And like, yeah, they just, they were like, all like, yeah, if you have any higher end stuff, I'll buy it. And I'm like thinking, like, I did have higher end stuff, but like, I can't imagine they'd pay the prices that I want if they're trying to resell it. You know what I mean? They're like, yeah, I sell vintage clothes. And like, I'm like, yeah, me too. I do too, buddy. So this is what you got. This is the dollar bin. You know what I mean? This is my dollar bin. If I had a storefront, this would be all in the dollar bin all day, every day. So, but you gotta applaud him for trying. There was one little kid. He was like, I mean, he wasn't like little. He was like tall, but he was just baby face, and he was there with his mom, and they were like digging through stuff. And he was like the last one to get there. I could just imagine him being like, "Mom, come on, I'm gonna be late. I'm gonna be late to go look for clothes." But yeah, they all kind of knew each other, all those like little vintage kids, and like, so some of them added me on Instagram, so they'll see that I have higher end T-shirts once they look on my Instagram. I'm surprised they didn't come back after that. And so yeah, so finished up around noon. So I went to go. There was like one yard sale that was like started a little bit later, so I scooted around over to that one, and then on the way back. Oh, no, sorry. I had to go to the post office. That's right. I had stuff that needed to get to the post office before noon, so I left around like 11:30. 11:30 I left. Went to the post office, and then the sale was ending at noon, so I just was like, all right, I'll just go get the signs. You know me, dude. I get my signs right away, except for that one time. But that one time wasn't my fault. It just got blown away. I have no idea where it went. So I went, got the signs. Got back to the house. It was like 12:30, and we had to leave the house around. What time did we have to leave? We had to leave around 1:30, 1:45 because we had our fantasy football draft, and I still needed to stop, and I needed to stop to get weed, and we needed to get. I don't think we needed liquor because I brought like a couple of beers that had just been sitting in the fridge. I had one beer my entire draft. In years past, I would just get like completely hammered. I just don't feel like drinking anymore. Like I had what did I have first? I had a soda water right when I got there. And then I stole one of my buddy's like iced tea drinks. I had one of those, and then I had a non-alcoholic beer, and then I had just soda water and like water the rest of the time. I did get super duper high when I got there. I'll get to the draft after because it was fun. So I got back to the house at like 12:30. There was this lady digging through the clothes, and at this point I'm just like, I'm gonna make a deal on whatever. So I think she finally, like, she was just taking her sweet time, like digging. So she comes and it's like 12:45 at this time. And mind you, we have to leave at like, again, like in an hour. So she comes and she's like, all right, how much for this little pile here? So I go $15. And she goes, all right, awesome. She's like, I'll be right back. I just got to go get money. I'm like, what the fuck? So as soon as she leaves, I like push everything into a pile. And I don't want to put a free sign on this pile yet because this lady's coming back. I want her to pay. So she came back finally. Like, she was gone for like 45 minutes. I'm like, I could never show up. Like, one, you showed up past the time that the sale was at. Like, the sale was ending at noon, and you were here at 12:30, like, picking through shit. She might have been here earlier than that, but still, just taking your sweet time. I kept, talking to my wife, like, yeah, we got to get going, blah, 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 blah. Let's get these kids ready. We'll get in the car. Saying all this, like, cues of, like, yeah, we got to get going. We got to leave. Just, nope, not even paying attention to that. So then, yeah, she's like, oh, I got to go get cash. I was like, who the fuck needs cash? Like, what the fuck? So she finally comes back, and like I just put a note. Like, my kids are in the car at this point. I had put a note on the pile of her on her bag to just be like, hey, please leave the money. Like, here, we had to leave. Like, and she came back. So my wife like took the note off the bag, and the lady comes up and hands me a 20 for $15. I'm like, so not only did you fucking just take for, like, it took her like 45 minutes, and she's like, oh, sorry, it took me a minute to get the money. It's like, you should have gone and got the money and come right back. Like, you clearly didn't do that. You went somewhere else or whatever the fuck you did, and then you come back and you want a change. Like, if we had left, she would have just had to leave. Like, she probably would have just left and taken the stuff, you know what I mean? She would have been like, oh, well, whatever. Then I would have chased her down and fucking murdered her. But anyway, so yeah, she that was kind of annoying. I'm like, who does that? Like, I rarely show up right before people are closing their yard sale. And if I do, I try to be really quick. You know what I mean? I try to get in and out. I'm not like, hey, can I come back and pay money? Like, no. We hit one yard sale. This just reminded me of hitting a yard sale right before they closed. And it was like right before they closed. We were actually on the way. My buddy's dad had passed away, so we were on the way to his funeral. And like, I just saw a sign on the way there. I was like, oh, this sale's not just about closed. Let's pop in. And I found like a Hatebreed jacket that I sold for like $150. I found a few things at that, like a wrestling hat, like a bunch of shit just randomly last second. So I love like shit like that. It doesn't happen all the time, but when it does, it's awesome. Anyway, so yeah, that was the wrap on the yard sale. And then I basically I took all the clothes and put them in trash bags. I donated all the clothes the next day. Took them to maybe I took them the same day. I took them the next day because the next day I did what the fuck is it called? I did why am I fucking drawing a blank here? Oh, I did a free pile. Fucking dumbass. So I did a free pile and I put all the shit out for free. And then I had people coming to pick through that. That might be the last time I do it. Because it's always like the scummiest of scummy people. And there was this one guy, he had this little kid and little kids, I can't blame little kids, their circumstances, whatever. But it was just funny because my daughter is about to be 3, and this kid was like, yeah, he just turned 3, and this kid was a month. He towered over my kid, and I'm just like, oh, this kid's the same age, about to be the same age as my daughter, so the guy, he's with his grandpa or something, and this dude's just outside of my backyard, and I just smell cigarette smoke. This guy's just fucking ripping butts as he's going through the free pile. And I'm like, man, I want a fucking cigarette. I quit smoking cigarettes, and this guy's just sitting smoking cigarettes in front of my house. So that was really kind of ridiculous. And there was another lady. I couldn't tell if they were together or separate, but they never acknowledged each other. But my wife said when she pulled in, she only saw one car. So I don't know if the lady was from the neighborhood or what. But then this little kid, this fucking big ass 3-year-old, it was just he kept walking up to the fence and just staring at us. Like, and I felt like, I kind of felt bad because I'm like, this kid probably doesn't have a yard. Like, he probably came from like the fucking, because I posted in one of like the local pages, like free, and they come from like these fucking little shitty cities, like mini cities. And listen, I grew up in one of those shitty cities, so I can call them shitty. And so like, he probably doesn't have fucking a lot of like, yard, or like, if you come to our house, it's not like, it's not the fanciest house. Like, the house itself is like fucking needs a ton of work, but like, it's a cool area. It's like at the end of the street. There's like fences. There's fucking, it looks like a cool place to hang out. So he's just like staring at us and like, he's probably like, whoa, this is like a cool, like, but it was just very uncomfortable because I'm like, can you get the fuck out of here? Like, all the free stuff is down at the end of the driveway. I don't want to see your sad little face like looking through my chain link fence. That's what the fence is there to do, is to keep fucking people like you out. Oh man. But yeah, so yeah, that might be the last time I do the free pile. It got it down, like it got it down. I got rid of the tires, which I really like. That's the one thing. It's like I didn't want to have to pay to get rid of tires, so somebody came and took the tires. Speaking of tires, we have another fucking nail in the tire. It's like I've never had such bad luck with tires in my life. Okay, I take that back. I did when I had a Scion TC, and if you remember the Scion TC, it was a piece of shit. Again, a Toyota, but it was like Scion was like its own thing, and when it first came out, it was like the coolest fucking thing ever, because you could customize it how you wanted to, and you could put like lights in the seat and lights in the fucking you could put lights in your cup holders, and like, so I had like blue neon lights in the bottom. Like, it was a fucking sick car. Like, I thought I was gonna get girls left and right, and like, I had gotten money from my grandmother, because my grandmother had passed away and we sold her house, so I got all this money and I spent it like a bunch of I paid cash for this fucking car like a fucking idiot. I was 17, you know what I mean? And my mom, there was some reason why she let me do it. I mean, I'm not gonna blame her for fucking letting me do it. I was 17, but hold on a second. All right, I'm back. What was I talking about? Fuck. Go through here. Let's see, the free pile. So yeah, I don't know if I would do that again. Like, I got rid of some stuff, but yeah, just not enough to like make it worth it to have like little weird urban voyeurs in my backyard. All right, let me see what else I had to talk about. So yeah, I've been having a good time doing Whatnot. I mean, we haven't made a ton of money doing it, but I think I can see it growing. It's getting like, it's getting bigger. I've got more of a thing. I've been spending money on like sponsored giveaways. So like, you can, sponsor a giveaway for somebody else's channel, and like they'll tell everybody to follow you, and you can like, say a little bit about your page. So I thought about that. I've been doing that. Sorry, I don't know why I said I thought about that. So yeah. I'm sorry, I got sidetracked. I'm like looking. Oh yeah, this was something I wanted to talk about last week, and I don't think I actually got around to talking about it. I'm really bummed out about it. So there's been this old lady in my neighborhood who's like, I knew she was gonna die at some point. I know that's morbid, but like, she's old as fuck. She was old as fuck when we like, when anytime I would see her. So then after a while, I just didn't see her. So I'm like, all right, you kind of know what that means. And then I saw like, there was signs that there was like shit, like, that she had probably passed away. There was like a van that came. It was doing, the hell's it called? Like, if to lock you out of your passwords, that type of thing. And my neighbor, his wife had passed away recently, so like they had that thing. And like, you know, they're just like a company that helps you because you don't know how to get into your passwords. It's probably simple shit that like most young people can do, but hey, if there's a market for it, why not? And so I was like, all right. And then I noticed that they had a dumpster, and I was like, oh, I'm going to go over and talk to them and see, like, you know, what the deal is. Ask, you know, I'll say clothes because that's an easy one. Everybody's trying to donate clothes. So I went up and asked them, like, hey, like, is there, you know, if you guys are donating clothes, I'd love to take them off your hands, like, whatever. I also collect this, and this, and blah, 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 blah. And he was like, well, I got to check with my wife because I think she wanted to, you know, donate them to a charity and this, that, and the other. Of course, I didn't have any fucking cards on me because I was just walking in the neighborhood and I saw them. And, like, I just was compelled. I was like, all right, I'm going to run over there and talk to him. And then I was like, all right, well, I'll come back tomorrow. And because he was going to check with his wife. But he's like, my mom's like 83, whatever. So she's got, like, old clothes. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of what I'm looking for. And, the next day I just was crazy busy and I couldn't get over there because my wife was working and stuff. And so by the time I got over there in the afternoon, I went down back around like the same time in the afternoon. They were already gone for the day. So I didn't get a chance to talk to them. And I haven't seen them since. So I did get my big boys pants on and fucking go up and ask somebody if I could dumpster dive. But I didn't actually take anything. I looked through the dumpster, but there wasn't really anything I wanted. But I was hoping that I would get those clothes, but you never know. I mean, it's probably... I got somebody who gave me a couple free bags of clothes this week, and it all smelled like smoke. She, like, messaged me back. She was like, I found more clothes. Do you want them? I'm like, no. I did find a Blue's Clues blanket that I was able to get all the smoke smell out of, but it's got a pretty big stain that I didn't notice until after I was done cleaning it. So we'll see how much that goes for. I know some of those old Blue's Clues shirt, like, blankets go for some money sometimes. I picked up some, like, what I thought were vintage Toy Story shoes at the Savers today because anytime, I've talked about this before, but anytime I go at my yard sale, the last step is after the free pile, I take the last of what's left. And literally it was like, you know, a trunk full. Like, not like I go from like having these giant yard sales, like a ton of stuff. The clothes go to like a bin up the street. I just take all the clothes there because it's like at this point, these clothes have been like, I had enough clothes to do a whole nother sale, but I just did not want, it's too much work to have to store them, haul them back out. One day is enough for me. I'm like, whatever, one day bonanza. And, so I brought all the clothes, got rid of those, and it was just like a tiny amount. So I went to Savers this morning, and, that's the only time I go to Savers is like, I'll go there, drop it off. Then they give you a 20% coupon. So I went in the store and I thought, of course, I was like, oh, I'm going to find some good stuff, like good stuff to sell. Got these shoes, thought that they might make some money. No. I did get a Family Values DVD from 2006. That was just like sitting there. I found it like, so I got that. And then a couple of like stuffies that are probably going to go in the Whatnot auction. But it's just like, it wasn't even worth it to spend that money. It probably would not be worth it. I was hoping that the sneakers would be worth some money, but every time I see something that some YouTuber says, I try it and it just never works for me. So I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. Fuck it. Episode 75. Fuck, man. Yeah, I've talked a little bit, but the Patreon's coming soon. I'm going to be doing the Patreon soon. I'm still trying to figure out the structure, but it will be a new show. There will be a new show. And I don't know if it's going to be on the Patreon or if it's just going to be the questions, but it's going to be basically like user-based, not user-based, but listener-based. So like most of the questions and stuff that are going to be on there are going to be from listeners. So like each week, each topic or each story will be all submitted by listeners. So I'm trying to decide if like Patreon members will get the first crack at posting their stories or... I don't want to say 100% what the idea is yet. But yeah, I might have already said it. So, you know what I mean? I can never remember. It's the problem with doing a podcast every week and like just not scripted is I don't remember half the shit I talk about. So sometimes I repeat myself and I apologize. But anyway, yeah, 75 episodes. going on 2 years of podcasting. So if you've been listening for like a long while, like if you've been listening for a few months even, or over a year, like thank you. But if you've been listening for even like a couple episodes, welcome. And yeah, check us out. We're all over the place now. I've been trying to do a lot more shit online, trying to be cognizant of my online footprint. Got school starting up already this week. I've already got my first couple of assignments due. I'm already like worried about my video game time. I haven't made a dent in that Kingdom Come game. Like I just got through the opening sequence, and I'd been playing for like 40 hours, and I finally got through the opening sequence. So it's going to be tough while school's going, but I'm trying to prioritize. Like I've got the Whatnot auctions all pretty much ready to go. We'll get everything like, after bedtime, after dinner, we'll bring the kids up. We put the kids to bed. I come down. I transform the basement into a little auction house, and then we run the auction for an hour, and then I package everything up, and then I wake up with the kids, and I fucking got to do it all over again. So yeah. What I'm saying is just fucking come and watch the show, please. I'm begging you. Just do it. All right, let me check my little thing. I've got like 14 minutes left. Oh yeah, this week I bought like the fakest Louis Vuitton bag I've ever seen. And I knew it was fake too. Like I looked at it and I was like, this is fake as fuck. But this lady was so convinced that it was real. But here's the thing. I bought another Louis Vuitton bag from her, and she thinks that one was not legit, and I think that one is legit, and the one that she thought is legit is 100% not legit. Like, it's not even the same logo. There's no LV anywhere on this bag. I even Google lensed it, and for some fucking reason in my brain, like, this bag looked like a Louis Vuitton bag. And then I got it home, and I'm like, I posted it on my Instagram and my stories because it was that bad. I was like, I got it back home, and I'm like, this is not a Louis Vuitton bag. Like, I don't know. I knew it wasn't when I bought it, but I just got getting it home and looking at it now, and then doing Google Lens. I'm like, in what fucking universe did I think that was a bag that I should pick up? Now, I did get 2 Coach bags that I also think are legit, and that Louis Vuitton bag. So maybe this bag maybe it's just above my pay grade, but there's like any big brand, they put their name everywhere. Like there's no stamp, there's no name anywhere on anything. But the lady was like, oh, you can just feel that it's a legitimate bag. And I'm like, I don't, like, unless she bought it herself. But she was like so convinced that it sounded like she bought it herself from Louis Vuitton, which was like, I was kind of like, so I don't know. I might look at it again, or I might just submit it just to be, like, all right, you can rest easy. Like, this was not a legitimate bag. You were right. Like, just to confirm that I was right. But like, yeah, I could not believe it when I looked. I'm like, there's not a single LV anywhere. Because I said to the lady, I was like, what is this? And she's like, oh, it's a Louis Vuitton. And she was just so confident. And I was like, but again, I bought another Louis Vuitton bag from her, and I'm like, I think that one is legit. The other one is 100%. I do not think it's legit. And again, I knew that before walking up and buying it. I knew it after looking at it. I was like, this is not legit. But for some reason, I was just like, whatever, take a chance on it. And she wanted like $20 for it, which was fucking crazy. And it wasn't like it was out at the sale. It was like something she pulled out after the fact. She was like, oh, I was going to consign this because it's worth more. And then, like, yeah, I looked at it and I Google lensed it, and I don't know what the fuck happened. Sometimes you just are like out in the wild and some shit happens. You know what I mean? You're like, you don't know what the fuck's happening. But anyway, yeah, so yeah, I couldn't believe that when I got it. I was just like, how the fuck? This thing is so janky. I mean, it's not. It's like, I guess it looks nice. Uh-oh. Where are my kids? I guess it looks nice, but then at the same time, it's like, there's literally no... Hold on. I don't know. I've got like 10 more minutes to muscle through here. I can't find my kids on the monitor. It's never a good sign. But oh, there they are. I found them. They're just fucking around. I thought they had left the room. So yeah, let's see. But yeah, that was like, there was an estate sale today. It was like 45 minutes away. Started at 8 a.m. I thought about it, but I just did not want to do it today. I wanted to like stay in bed and snuggle with my kids and shit. So that's what we did. I waited till they got up. Let's see. Oh, we've got while I'm talking about Whatnot, I was just talking about Whatnot. We're going to do a Halloween themed Whatnot episode, or what, the Halloween show. It's going to be in like, not this Friday, but next Friday. So we're going to do a Friday show. We never do Friday shows, but I figured we would do it that day because, people want shit for Halloween. They want it up before Halloween. So I figured I'd get the Halloween episode or the Halloween stuff done, like, earlier rather than later. So if people want to put that shit up. So we're going to have like, horror movies, masks, t-shirts, like old trick-or-treat bags, all types of shit, like just cool vintage Halloween stuff. And that's going to be like a little more laid back Whatnot stream. So we'll do that like, Friday night. We'll just kind of, see what happens, pull some stuff out and go from there. It won't be as, normally we do like kind of rapid fire because we try to get them done. And then get, 'cause we have shit to do the next day or the next morning or whatever. So yeah, I'm hoping that, I'm excited for that one. So we've got a bunch more Whatnots coming up. I've got like some toys set aside. We're going to be doing that. But yeah, I'm just like, I know I'm going to be busy as fuck coming up just because I've got school again starting, and I've got one kid going back to school. So I'll have one kid again during the day. But even then, that gets kind of like, because you start to get into a routine, because you got to be back to the school at a certain time and like up in the morning and out the door. But at least for this time, it's drop off. For drop off, they just get out of the car. It's awesome. You just like pull up and they just take them out of the car. So you don't have to get out. You just basically, drop them off. So, and then, she starts gymnastics again, which this place, like for 5-year-olds, they want you to drop them off and leave them there. But it's like, I've sat there and I've seen how like wild these kids aren't supervised at all. And then they like expect the other parents. Like she said to me one time, or she said to the other parents, all the parents, she was like, yeah, you guys can say something to these kids if they're acting up. I'm like, no, that's not what my fucking job is. Like, I brought you my kids in class. Like, and so like now I forgot that was like a thing. And I'm not like the parent that's like, oh, I'm not going to drop them off. Like I was going to drop them off. I'll be sitting in the parking lot. I'm not going to be going anywhere, but it's like, what's it called? But yeah, just like for drop off, it's like they want you to drop them off. And she's like, yeah, they're supervised, and they're not at all. Like, yeah, they just like run around full sprint. Like, they could get smashed up. Like, and I'm not like overly protective. I might be. I don't know. I love my fucking kids. But yeah, it's just crazy to me because they're like, she came out one time. She's like, yeah, you can say something to these kids if they're acting up. It's like, that's not 100% not my place to do that, to talk to some other kid's parent, like, especially when like you're the one telling people to leave their kids. It's like, you should be out here telling them not to do shit in your fucking school, lady. But anyway, we had what's it called? Fantasy football draft this weekend. I'll finish up talking about this. So yeah, we got there. So after this, we had to leave the yard sale. So we finished up the yard sale, then we went. So we got to the fantasy football draft, And there's this guy that's in our league who works at a dispensary. So anytime, and like he knows I smoke a lot. So anytime we show up to the draft, he always brings me something. So this time I was like, oh, he's definitely gonna like bring some shit for me. So I grabbed some edibles for us, because like I don't, every time I show up there, I have like a little bit of weed left, and like so I was like, I'm gonna stop on the way, grab edibles, because I always forget. I'm always in a rush. So I pulled out. I was like, hey man, you want a fucking like edible, whatever? And he pulled out some. I think it was like RSO, maybe Rick Simpson oil. Which if you've never done that, it's like I did it one time. I thought I was gonna die. Like I did it during Avengers Endgame, and like I had a panic attack. Like it was crazy. I was like halfway through the movie, I was like, I don't know why I'm not high yet. And then all of a sudden it was just like washed over me. And I was fucking the highest I've ever been watching Captain America lift Mjolnir, however you say it, fighting Thanos. And like, I just was like overloaded, like left the theater and was like, I told my wife, like, you have to drive. She was like, what the fuck? So this was the stuff that I was doing. And I didn't even think about it. I just like munched it. So he's like, oh, let's put this on a fucking gummy. And then like, so I put it in, and it was nasty because it was like cannabis oil, and it like sticks to your teeth and shit forever. So I'm just like trying to pick it off my teeth and wash it down, and it's not my favorite, but I was fucking, oh my gosh, I was so fucking high. I didn't think I was going to be able to draft. That's how high I was. I was like fucking zooted. So yeah, that's why I only had like one beer throughout the whole day. I just like normally, like one of the dudes that was there was fucking trash. He was like, oh, are you good to drive? It's always funny when the person who's fucking hammered is like, are you good to drive? I'm like, yeah, dude, I had one beer like 4 hours ago. I haven't been drinking. And I took the edible right when I got there. So by the time it was like time to leave, I was pretty good. I was ready for bed, but I was fucking good. So we did that. The kids got to play all day and swim. My team was pretty fucking solid. But like, yeah, now it's just like, that's the other thing. So that was the other thing I was thinking. I've got fantasy football coming up, school. We've been doing the whatnots every week. We've got one a week for the foreseeable future. We've got the Halloween one coming up. And then after that, we're going to be doing some vintage jackets. And then after that, we're going to be doing some toys and then some video games. So I've got one for like one a week. And then, yeah, hopefully by episode 100 of this show, we'll have video. I know I've been saying it for fucking 2 years. Had it for like 2 episodes. We thought it was going to be good, but then it just was not working. It was like a pain in the ass. So I'm hoping that he can come and just give me like a solid setup. Not like give it to me, but you know what I mean? Like show me how to do a solid setup so that way I can just do it that way every time. Like, and then it's just quick, boom, 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 I'm done. And we've got a show with video on top. So we're moving in the right direction. We're getting there. If you like the show, and you're not falling asleep right now like me, go ahead and subscribe and follow. Tell your friends. Say, hey, this is a show that's like pretty mediocre. It's mid, as the kids would say. But it's a different reselling podcast. You know what I mean? There's a bunch of reselling podcasts that's just going to tell you bolos. I'm going to give you bolos. But I'm also going to give you a little pizzazz. You know what I mean? You're not going to get just like some fucking nonsense. So tell your friends if they like reselling with a little bit of some salt and pepper on it, if that some seasoning. I don't even know what the fuck I'm trying to say right now. But yeah, like the podcast, subscribe, go check us out. Flips and Giggles is the eBay store and also the Whatnot username. Perry Flips on Instagram with a Z, on X or Twitter. Pothead Picker. I'm least active on Twitter. I just don't know what to post on there. I guess I could post like fun reselling facts, but who would fucking want that? Nobody. I don't see any resellers on there. It's not a big platform. It could be. Like, it should be a bigger platform. I know a lot of resellers are on Threads. I got rid of Threads. It was just like shitty, like uber liberal Twitter. Like, I don't like anything too much one way or the other. And like Like even Twitter, I had to like get off because it's like too far. Like I like to be right down the middle. If it's too far right or too far left, it's just too much. So I've been kind of like right down the middle lately. But anyway, that's the podcast. Thank you for listening to episode 75 of the Roughly Related to Reselling podcast. Make sure you check us out everywhere you can get your podcasts, and then tell your friends not to miss out. And yeah, later.